Welcome back to VIR as we get ready for the Masters feature. This is a 20-lap race, or 30 minutes-ish, as we saw with the last feature, guys, whatever comes first. Masters on the racetrack. Locatelli going to lead this field to green. We have a all-international front row. Brabel on the outside in position number 2. Kevin Nowak, Darren Gallant, Daryl Marr, Carl Cormier, Robert Gayton, Zeke Hanger, Lonnie Hochstetler, and Seth Kirchner, your top 10. Michael Sauer, Claude, I have pronunciations, Wadane in the 33. Waller, Dwayne Holder, who had a tough time yesterday during qualifying and heat races, and Mike Waddell completes your field. So, 15 cars. Our onboard is Robert Gayton, and Robert had a couple of offs through the grass yesterday. Crazy old men put up a time, let's say, in their 2 heat races. They just saw the semi-pros in the racetrack. As Carl said, we just saw one flip in front of us. So what do we expect out of this one?
I feel like since Masters, they'll be a little bit calmer because they know how much they need to push, and also they take care of their cars a lot better, I'd say, most of the time.
I think that they don't care for the championship. I think they're all going to go for it all at once. It's definitely a different race in between them in a normal race and them for a championship race. I think it's going to change the mood. I mean, round 10, a shootout for the Masters was definitely a race to watch. I mean, they put up a good show. There's a whole lot of wrecks, but it was definitely a good one to watch.
I spoke with Daryl Marr earlier. As you look at the Masters points, Darren Gallant and Kevin Nowak are here. Robert Gayton is here. So tie up top. Gayton is 12 points back going in. This is going to be a show with Gayton running as well as he did yesterday afternoon in the heat race. As we get ready momentarily to see the green flag as the field works through turn at number 5. Locatelli is going to be your control car in car number 85. We'll see if they have all the action and excitement out of the way from the heat races yesterday. Green flag flies to the Masters. We're underway.
Good start for the leader.
And it looks like they've got it figured out up front. Robert Gayton, about 5th place right now.
Definitely once. Turn 1. You know, there's definitely a lot less cars in the Masters, but they make it packed still. And there's no expert up the pressure.
Yeah, bump draft them.
Kevin Nowak is known to put on a show, and there's no give up in Kevin Nowak as he looks on the back bumper, that 85. Locatelli's got nothing to lose here as he goes to the driver's left, does the 53 of Nowak. 85 is not in a championship chase. Kevin Nowak is.
So I feel like you'd race him a little bit different versus if he was.
At the end of the day, it's just another car on the racetrack, right?
Yeah.
All of them want to win, and maybe a little bit of an off there for the 85 as they came by the start and finish line. You're right on board with Robert Gayton. I spoke. Look at those hands.
Really loose.
So he and Daryl Marr put up the battle yesterday as Daryl is under fire from the 88 of Barabel, and there goes Gallant to the other side.
Ooh, he's off.
And Daryl's off the racetrack again. Those are 3 Go Motorsports cars as they battle, and Robert Gayton right in behind them was able to close
Still
in.
side by side.
That's close. Wheel to wheel, Barabel, one of the drivers from Ireland, looking to pick up a spot on Darren Gallant. Slideways again.
That's definitely a tricky corner. You know, you got to set that one perfectly up for this corner right here, and even after that, you got to set the next corner up. I mean, it's pretty. It doesn't look too fast, but I mean, it's a fast-paced track all throughout. I mean, then you got to worry about the next braking zone right after that process. It's definitely an action-packed track.
With this track being so technical, losing focus might be a little bit. Keeping focus might be a little more difficult for the Masters, is where I'm trying to go with this, I think. These guys have been around. They know a thing or two. What we saw with Daryl Marr and Robert Gayton yesterday, who happen to be nose to tail right now, in their heat race, I don't want to say traded mistakes, but they went back and forth a little bit and a couple of offs, and now they find themselves again on the racetrack as you ride on board with Robert Gayton looking at the English Jewelers number 66.
I feel like VIR being a track that nobody ever really runs at versus if we were to go to Charlotte or or Dominion, a place that people run a lot, people tend to make more mistakes in newer tracks because they don't know what to expect. And I feel like that's kind of why we've seen so many offs and so many wrecks here this weekend.
And I talked to Carl about it earlier. You unload on Friday and you're quick. Everybody tries to catch up to you at the end of the weekend, and now we see some drivers that we're good. There goes Gayton off the racetrack.
Yeah, outside was not a good idea.
And Hochstetler going to pick up a spot.
That's definitely not the place you want to pass, is through that little corkscrew, but you want to try and get to the inside and try and have enough to clear the person on your inside, or else you're not going to have any speed going through that whole next section. Maybe you could lose maybe 1 or 2 positions going through there.
So they have traded offs in this battle for position number 5 on back. Barabel's been able to pull away. Daryl Marr trying to pull away in the white 66, and now Hochstetler in the 31 right there as well. And Carl Cormier's back there bouncing off curbs.
Yeah, he dipped the tire on the entry right there.
Speaking of the curbs, I mean, they are really hard on the tires. If you go look at one tire, it's got gashes and slashes all through that from those. Those little tiny rumbles on the curbs are definitely a big factor in the tires. I mean, our tires all throughout 860 and all teams, I mean, it is all worn out, all on the edges of the tires.
Another thing with us racing on rain tires instead of regular slick tires, they almost wear differently than a normal tire would, just in the way they wear.
And I know the big thing on Saturday after Friday's practice was cutting the course. We see a lot of these guys going up and bouncing over those curbs. So how fine of a balance is it to try to not cut the course, but try to get that little bit of extra time that you need? Well,
if you barely cut the curbs here, so many people have ran, it's almost like a pothole, and so you hit it and you almost like have to brace yourself for how hard the impact is. Or if you go a little bit farther to the left or right of it, then it's a little bit smoother, but then they've made that illegal. So now you almost want to like get as close to not being on the curb as you can while being on it.
It's a fine line as the 85 continues to lead. Locatelli is your leader, the 53 of Nowak in a second, and then Gallant and Barabel in the 88 looking to pick up the third place position. And we see them down through one. Little dust being kicked up by that blue 88. That's going to lose a little bit of ground on the 05.
He's got a big gap back, though, so he doesn't have to worry about anything.
But now you got to try to reel him back in, right?
Yeah.
So the 85 of Locatelli, there's a good look at some of those curbs down there into 3, and there's almost a dip on the other side of the curbs as well, right?
Yeah. If you get hooked in that, it's pretty good, but don't want to use too much. Because in those corners, you kind of ride the curb around it. See, like through this little S section, it's like a little pothole. Yep. But versus going down the hill through 3, you can almost ride it, and the curb will like hook you around it.
Yeah, that was definitely a faster yesterday, but I feel like today, if you go off too many times on those curbs, it started to slowly knock the toe out as the race went on. If you kept dipping that either side off the track, it started hurting, and it was definitely not the optimal line through that whole entire S section.
And you don't want to hit the curbs too hard, because part of the reason so many people have spilled oil on the track this weekend is something will break within the car because of how hard they're hitting the curb.
So we saw some excitement in this battle a couple of laps ago. It looks like they've calmed down just a little bit. Robert Gayton, you're right on board with the 1, looking up at Lonnie Hochstetler in the 31. The 66 of Daryl Marr is 4th. We check that 5th. The top 4 broken away, and even Locatelli right now is beginning to pull away from the rest of this field.
It's definitely a nice spread out open field. You know, I thought it was going to be a closer race, but you know, they're starting to slowly get away from each other, and the championship is slowly calming down. But as the 2 championship contenders are pretty close to each other, as 2 car lengths separate them.
Yeah, nose to tail right now pretty much. A couple of car lengths between those 2 that are fighting for the national championship, and Kevin Nowak in the white and black 53 and the 05 of Darren Gallant. And I think that 88, the Barabel, will be there, but we've still got 12 laps to go, still plenty of time as you look at the points as they run unofficially. And Nowak just ahead of the 05, not only in the points but also on the racetrack. And they've caught the 85 of Locatelli.
I think it's going to be a good race towards the end, as we're not even halfway through yet, and it's still a pretty decently close race in between all of them.
Top 4, if somebody makes a mistake or somebody has an off, they're going to capitalize, and then it's a way back to position number 5. Waiting to see Daryl Marr in the picture, and there he is all the way back there. So it's it's a ways back.
53 of Kevin Norwalk. He's barely catching our leader right now. It's going to take him a while, but once he gets there, maybe the 85 will start blocking, and that'll definitely help him catch him quicker.
And he's got some laps to do it, too. We'll come by this next time and have 10 laps to go halfway through in the Masters. And we saw, obviously, the action in the semi-pro feature. These guys, not yet, but the accordion is starting to come back together with 11 laps to go, make it 10 laps to go this time by. So your leader is Locatelli, Nowak in second, Gallant in third. Those are the two that are battling for the national championship. Brabel in fourth, and then it's about 6 seconds or so back to Daryl Marr in the 66. And that battle that was a very entertaining battle in the opening couple of laps has kind of spread themselves apart as they continue to work around here in log laps. 10 completed and 10 laps to go in the Masters feature.
I mean, I've known Nowak for a long time. He has the knowledge to get around the 85, but he's definitely thinking of the bigger picture here. I don't know if he'll want to go for the race winner or the championship, but it's definitely helped. He's been to a whole lot of tracks like Loudon, New Hampshire, Hallett, all those tracks up there, Thompson. You know, it's definitely helped him for this big picture here for the championship.
If Kevin gets close enough, does that championship picture just come out of mind?
Big mess up for the leader right there. He's side by side.
Almost
give
had
it
it
to him. Well, I don't know what happened there. He lost all of his momentum.
Yeah. Something amiss with the 53 of Nowak, and there goes his closest championship rival around him in the 05, a Darren Gallant. Gallant sideways, Nowak there as well. And Barabel's got nothing to lose in this 88. He's not going for a championship. He wants to win a race.
Yeah. I don't know what happened there. A lap car held up our leader, and then Norwalk was by the side of him and got really slow. I don't know what could have happened. Yeah, but he was side by side, and they were both going the same speed, and he just stopped.
So we'll see if he can get that momentum back and see if he can build anything. The good thing for Locatelli is he is out in front of this field. The 05 of Gallant now in second, and you look back at that 88 car, you almost think that the 53 of Nowak has to play a little bit of defense as much as he does trying to catch the 05, right?
53 is so much quicker, though. He doesn't really have to worry about what's behind him. He can almost just focus on what's ahead of him.
He's there again on the 05 of Gallant.
Yes.
Ooh. Oh, he missed him. He tried to get to his rear bumper. He's starting to get a little impatient with 8 to go.
You got to go now, especially if you let that leader go, right?
Yeah. The 88's putting on pressure on him, telling him, let's go.
53 missed it. Oh, he's off the racetrack.
Nice little save back onto the racetrack as Darren Gallant leads unofficially in the championship standings. It's literally one spot back and forth between those two. But Brabel wants to go. He wants to win a race. He wants to have an opportunity to get a trophy out of this thing, but he looks like he gains a little bit of momentum and then loses it, especially up there in 1.
Nowak has so much speed, he doesn't have to worry about the 88. He's already built that gap back up. Oh, big. It's the guy in front of him misses the corner, and now he's going to be right on him as we exit turn 4.
Trying to force a mistake and trying to get a mistake out of the driver in front of you is Nowak in the 53 and all over Gallant. Had the off here the last time by. Looks like he's going to keep it on the racetrack this time as they come to 6 to go.
As I know, Gallant and Nowak are really good friends because they raced with each other all through Loudon and New Hampshire and all those tracks up there, whatever tracks they all run. As they laugh, they have, whatever they do is they have fun, and it's definitely. I'm wondering what Nowak's going to do to get to the 05, and once he gets to him, what he's going to do.
Was Nowak in the mirror looking at the 88?
I don't know what happened. I think he got loose, missed the corner, and that's cost him another spot. It's still loose, but the 88, he can easily get back by, I think.
Is he thinking maybe the 88 can get to Darren Gallant and maybe make it a little bit easier?
No, because the only reason that they were catching the 05 is because the 53 was putting on so much pressure. I think he's got to get by the 88 to get to the 05. As we say that, the 88 catches up to the 05 through that section of the racetrack. He's going to be on him in the 3 if he has a good turn 1 right here.
And as these spots continue to change, Locatelli continues to pull away. It's almost 2 seconds between your top 2, and there goes Gallant. Went a little wide.
Now the 88's going to have the draft going down the backstretch, and we'll be on him in the 3.
Going to have that run, gets right up to him. Does he make the move here?
No, outside's not going to work. Going to have to set up to move him in the 4.
As here comes Nowak back into the picture.
And there's some lap cars up ahead of this battle as well, so keep your eye on that as Gallant continues to show the way in this battle for position number 2. And we kind of caught those. There's 2 or 3 cars, I believe, ahead of the leader. The leader hasn't caught them yet, though. They'll come by this time to 4 to go.
There's our lap traffic.
That's Dwayne Holder, Michael Sauer, as they battle hard for those positions. Brian Waller in the 4, also off the road.
05. He's off the racetrack.
As he goes off, that'll ruin the momentum through the whole straightaway, and there he goes.
And that's going to give Kowak a really big gap and the championship lead.
It's almost like they're trading mistakes.
It is. If I'm Kowak, I'm just going to be careful now, because if I see the 05s getting closer to me, then I'll try to put the pressure and try to make a move on the 88. But I'm going to hold my spot right now and just make no mistakes.
And make sure the 05 doesn't get back to you in the next 4 laps of this one, as the 88 of Brable now in position number 2, Nowak to 3rd, and Gallant back there in 4th trying to catch them. Locatelli continues to lead this thing, trying to bring it home to Italy in the Masters feature with 3 to go.
It's got a big gap. It's going to be really hard for him to lose this race.
Got to keep it up. Oh, by the way, there's some lap traffic ahead of him.
Well, I think he'll be able to get by him, or they'll let him by.
Dwayne Holder and Michael Sauer have been battling for that 12th place position the last little bit, so we'll see how that plays out for the leaders as the 88 of Brable in a second. And here comes, oh no!
As they wreck each other.
Lap traffic goes around. Everybody's going to tiptoe their way through this. Sauer's coming back out on the racetrack in between Nowak and Gallant.
And that's going to help Nowak, because that lap car is going to be in between him and...
Oh, this might close the gap.
Trying to get by Dwayne
Holder.
Holder.
They're on him. They're on him.
Closing the gap. Locatelli's your leader. He's got to get by Dwayne Holder. How does he get by Dwayne?
I think I jinxed him.
He was out to 3 seconds, and now he's up to 3/10, and as the 22 drives off right in front of him, this is going to be a closer race than we thought.
And Nowak gets by as well. That was a big pass for Kevin Nowak in the 53.
Now he's going to have an even bigger gap.
So we have local yellow down here into turn at number 3.
Oh, he locks up the brakes.
And Nowak is on them too.
3-man race right now.
3 cars going for the lead as the 4 is still off. That is Brian Waller. We remain green for the time being. Local caution in that area.
Well, the
right there.
Puts the bumper to him.
Locatelli and Brable, your top 2, and Nowak in behind in 3rd.
Caution's out.
Caution's out. 2 laps to go.
Does this give Gallant the advantage he needs?
I think it has to, doesn't it? Or at least gives him an opportunity.
This will be big, because now they know they're fighting for the championship. So,
will that be a penalty for the 4? He waited for the full course caution to come out before he started moving
that's
again.
That's a good point.
I know they warned them in the drivers' meeting, I think Friday.
Yeah.
So that will bring the field back with 2 laps to go. This battle here, there's no championship battle here, but there has to be a little bit of nationality pride. You have an Italian leading, a driver from Ireland in position number 2. They don't usually get to come over and race legend cars over here at an event like Road Course World Finals. So you have to believe there's some pressure on with these 2 too, right?
Yeah, I mean, those 2 have definitely raced road course all this season. I mean, they don't really race much oval on that other side. They definitely have the road course experience it takes to both win this race.
We'll take a look at the replay. It happened right in front of the leaders. The 4 could not get going before the caution flag flew. Green car right there. It looked like it was off already.
Yeah, he ran off the racetrack and merged, and the 84 was there and just didn't realize it, and they both ran into each other.
That's Michael Sauer in the 84, the 4 of Waller. One more look at it. Keep your eye on the left-hand side of your screen.
I'm trying to figure out what happened to the 88 as well. It's like he missed the corner. He missed the brake. Oh, that might have been the lap after.
And right there, the 4 is coming back on the racetrack, and the 84, I don't know if he didn't expect him to be there or whatever the case may be.
85's lucky he wasn't any closer than that, because he could have been involved in that too.
and then he'll get up to Dwayne Holder and eventually pass Dwayne Holder, but gave him a little bit of trouble trying to get by.
Here's the end car from the 1.
This gives an opportunity for a guy like Robert Gayton to pick up a couple of spots at the end. He's got Carl Cormier ahead of him. Points as they run unofficially. Robert Gayton sits third. Nowak and Gallant, one spot in between them. As they will, looks like they're going to slow the field down here maybe. Car that was there is off the racetrack, so maybe they may be looking for some debris or something on the racetrack before we send these drivers off. Still one more feature to go. The Pro Division is up next to close off Road Course World Finals. So the 85 of Locatelli has led this thing since the drop of the green flag. Carter, kind of like your race where he's controlled most of the event, and then you see a caution late. So if you're sitting in that 85, what's going through your mind knowing that you've got to finish this off for 2 laps and knowing that the competition is now behind you?
Well, I was in this exact position, and I was just well, I had a red flag, so I had a little bit more time to think about it, but I just got to know, because they're going to have a double file restart, I got to keep the guy on the outside. I have to get in front of him. And if we're side by side entering the tight corner at the top of the hill in the 1, I know that I've got to get him behind me, because then I'll have the inside and just got to clear him before we get into 3.
So it looks like we might go green.
Yeah, I was going to say, within 5 to go, are we going single file? Yellow is still being displayed here.
Because now the 1 to go will be shown.
Got to get a good restart here.
Yeah, you got to be on your game here, knowing that there's 2 laps left to go. Especially with limited passing opportunities on this racetrack, you really have to be on your game, right?
And if I'm the 88 or the 85, I want to be careful, because who knows, the 53 and the 05 might wreck each other because they're going for the championship. So you also have to keep that in the back of your mind, that they're going for something much bigger than just the race win.
I don't know if they act. Nowak is pointing the 88 to the outside, so it looks like it might be a double file.
The 85 is keeping up
They
a
better-
really
they better-
high pace speed.
They better get set up.
Yeah, they're double file now, getting ready to come back to the green flag. So a green-white checker finish to this one. 2 laps to go. Gayton and Cormier are going to line up side by side. You're right on board with Robert Gayton, right behind Lonnie Hochstetler in car number 31.
We're green.
As we are green flag racing.
Ooh, ran off the racetrack a little bit.
If you're, oh boy, Barabel's off the racetrack in the 88.
She's going to drop all the way back now.
That's a tough break for the 88.
Nowak now has a 66 in between him, giving him a little bit of a cushion.
And Darryl Marr in between those two, Nowak and Gallant. And if you're Darryl Marr, you've got nothing to lose in a points championship either. You got to push and you got to get going. The 85 of Locatelli under fire from the 53. Here he goes.
Side by side. 53 is going to get the position because he's going to have the preferred line. Oh, he gives it up.
And Darryl Marr is on his back bumper looking to take something away here at the end of it. They come off a 5. They'll come to the white flag this time. Locatelli is going to see it first. And if you're in behind the 85, you know you've got to go. The 85's got to hit his marks in order to come back and take a Road Course World Finals win.
I think for Nowak, it's just going to be a better, simpler idea to just wait for an opportunity if it comes, but if it doesn't, just seal the championship as 85 will try and block the inside.
Nowak,
big slip.
He got that run. So did the 66 of Darryl Marr on the back of Locatelli. It's closed in, about 5 others in behind them. The 85 trying to wrap this one up and take a win home to Italy as they work down towards turn number 5. Through the S's, the 85 is solid. Checkered flag's going to come out, and Locatelli is going to bring one home to Italy. He wins the Road Course World Finals for the Masters. Nowak, Marr, Gallant, and Hochstetler, your top 5. So unofficially, it'll be Kevin Nowak taking home that championship.
Yep.
Yeah, he did everything he needed to do in that race. He did have a couple of mistakes, but got fortunate that Gallant also had mistakes, but he did a great job being able to hold it off.
So you have Italy, USA, and Canada in the top 3.
Yeah.
And the the 88 might not be happy.
Yeah, I don't know what happened on that restart. Obviously, we saw him go off. Definitely.
And those two are, I think they both race for go, don't they?
I'm not sure if the 88
He's
does.
not happy.
He is not happy.
Yeah, the 88 does. They are both teammates.
Robert
still
Gage
going
trying to get in the
after
middle of it.
Still going after him.
He's really not.
He is not happy.
You're going to have a little bit of off-track motion.
Well, they're going to have to come off the racetrack here, right?
Yeah. He's swimming out of the way. He's trying to get away from him.
As he's
Oh,
not happy.
They are still having a conversation.
He's going to stop. Yeah, I don't think IMAX is going to have a lot of fun with that.
I'm more interested when they get back to the trailer because they're parked at the same team.
Really?
They're both running for go.
We have a replay of what happened.
This is the restart. So the 05 is behind them.
Gives him a big shot.
Oh, right there. They're hooked.
Yeah, oh, there. He clobbered the curb and got all jumbled up. I think that's what got him hooked. And then...
Yeah, he pushed him right off.
Yeah.
It allows Darryl Marr to get by, to get a podium finish out of that one. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it's one of those championship-defining moments, right?
Yeah.